today for We are in Annapolis, Maryland at the United States Naval Academy. It's Navy Marine Corps Stadium today for 4 games, and this one is a matchup of the 2028s. It is the Naptown National Challenge, finals of the 2028s. Those are rising sophomores, BBL National and Maddog National. Hi, everybody. Welcome in. I'm Quinn Kesnick along with Paul Carcaterra. These guys not only are really good, but this is an exciting part of their high school career as rising sophomores.
It is. They have a year under their belt in terms of playing high school lacrosse. They're 14 months away from being recruited, and many of these guys are going to be on the top of every major college program's recruiting list. And serious Jersey roots in this game. BBL founded in the state of New Jersey. Maddog National, Tommy Dorr was a star in the state as a high school player. Later went on to Johns Hopkins University. They have a little bit of Jersey feel, West Coast with California, and then Texas as well. So we're seeing incredible talent from coast to coast.
We are moments away from the face-off of this 2028 championship game. These are rising sophomores, BBL National and Maddog National. Starting lineups presented by Visit Annapolis. The BBL National team in blue. Maddie McGinty will get the start, a goalie out of Del Barton. David Cormack is their head coach. BBL has a lot of New Jersey flavor.
They do, and what's neat about this matchup to me is you got BBL with New Jersey flavor, Maddog National. The roots of that club originate from the state of New Jersey with Tommy Dorr, who's the founder of the club.
But they got players from everywhere.
Yes,
Maddog National.
Exactly. But they've branched out from coast to coast. They have players from Texas, California.
A lot of Culver guys on this roster. Head coach is Mike Hungerford. Maddog National will be wearing the white uniforms.
It's a great contrast from our last game where the Long Island Express is like a homegrown club team that's all from the same geographical area. This national team literally covers coast to coast with some incredible talented players.
Mac Brooker, goaltender from Texas, number 41, will get the start. You see him with the black helmet near side of that huddle with the gray sweats. We're underway. Our first division was won earlier today by the Long Island Express. And this is the rising sophomores. A third member of our crew is Marianne Laurel, and she is standing by with an update.
Guys, ahead of today's game, I was able to connect with both coaches on the field. What they said was we can expect a familiar game. They both know each other. They've met with each other before, so we can expect an evenly matched up with great lacrosse. Back to you guys.
There is a good look at Mac Brooker, the goaltender from Texas, doing his ceremonial pipe tapping and getting mentally ready for this contest. Left-hander, locked and loaded here at Navy Marine Corps Stadium. Rising sophomores. In every step you'll see today in the 4 games we're televising, you'll see
a little bigger
growth and development.
A little faster, a little stronger. These players have a year of high school lacrosse under their belt, and many of them were varsity stars as freshmen. This is big boy lacrosse, and these guys are about 14 months away from being headliners in the recruiting race. September 1st of your junior year, the floodgates are open. These players entering their sophomore campaigns with their eyes on the next year in terms of more development, closing a gap and fine-tuning your game so you can put yourself in a great position to be on everyone's college list.
Carl Robinson wins that first face-off for Maddog National. They're going to operate from right to left with the white jerseys. You're going to see multiple colored helmets. 50 is Trent Tremblay, a midfielder. Off to 27, Cameron Hill.
they're guarding him far out.
California player runs down that left-handed alley, kicks it to X, intercepted ball on the carpet, and now BBL in the blue jerseys will attempt to clear. It's Matty McGinty. Good name for a goaltender out of Del Barton. Very proud program in northern New Jersey.
You know, going from the 29s to the 28s here, this is a major jump up in terms of the physical growth. Like, this looks different, even though it's only 1 year.
Yeah, and in some cases it's 2 years with guys who are reclassed. But Owen Higgins will be on this first midfield along with Michael Giordano. And on the far side, it looks like Alexander Finkelstein out of Pingree. Helps to be positionally versatile at these events where your roster is probably going to be about, 18 or 20 deep. If you can play attack and midfield, that's certainly adding value. It's in your best interest as well to put yourself on the field. 12-minute running time quarters, college rules, other than no shot clock at this age classification. A lot of patience. BBL in blue. BBL stands for Building Blocks Lacrosse. Longtime program out of Jersey. Giordano now out of Del Barton. Splits to his right. Jump shot. Wide. Brooker had his body on it. Didn't get action with his top hand. That had the goaltender beat if it was on the frame. Jay Stanson is the left-handed attackman. 24 in blue. And now they'll decide to invert for Alexander Finkelstein out of Pingree School in Jersey. Quick righty up the hash. Spins it near side. Higgins, Owen Higgins with the orange helmet. That's a Mountain Lakes helmet. Good defense. Alley shot. Beats Brooker down low. BBL National strikes first off a long possession.
I like the patience of Higgins here on this goal, Quint. Looks like he could have shot it earlier, but knows there's more pay dirt to be had here. It's quickness, low angle shooting ability, and just a quick release too. There was no wind up here when he was able to beat the defender. Mountain Lakes, a long-standing,
forever,
yeah, traditionally rich program out of the state of New Jersey. Higgins, the next star.
Face-off won by Maddog National. That's Carl Robeson. He can face off. He can play some midi. He'll head to the box. This division started out with 32 teams. At the beginning of the week, they're down to just 2. These athletes played earlier today. They had some weather disruptions yesterday with lightning that threw a curveball, and the crew here, led by Matt Hogan of Hogan Lacrosse, doing a wonderful job to keep everything on target. Lefty rip. Maddog has their first goal unassisted. A lot of power, a lot of velocity, good speed from Dom Frieri out of Culver.
Frieri, the lefty. This is great offense, too. It's ball reversal into the open set with no crease. So they spread the defense out there. There's no help from the crease defender until it's too late. Because offensively, it was an open set, Quint, there. And I think Frieri knew that once he got that ball and they reversed it. I love them. The counter aggression offensively there from the ball reversal to a middle of the field dodge by Dom Frieri.
Face-off violation. Ball awarded to Maddog National in the white, and they'll bring out some fresh midfielders. Frieri, as I said, from Culver, you'll notice their maroon, dark maroon helmet is a distinguishing characteristic of that nationally ranked program. Jake Struznik, 38 in white, turns it over. Let's see if BBL can clear. Finkelstein and Michael Giordano battling for it. And KJ Wade, the midfielder, now trying to elude 3 riders. But good hustle by Maddog National. They chase the ball down, and now they'll set up their settled set. McKnight, Nico Brown from Colorado. Looks like they're going to set up an isolation against the long pole. Looking to feed. Finally does. Outside rip. Bouncer finds pay dirt. A lot of patience.
Jake Struznik with a big-time outside bomb. Maddog National striking from the perimeter. It was Frieri, and now Struznik finding pay dirt.
The 2025 Naptown National Challenge is presented by Visit Annapolis in Anne Arundel County. Visit us at visitannapolis.org. Hogan Lax, more than lacrosse. Under Armour, protect this house. The Greater Orlando Sports Commission. And the Maryland Sports Commission. Learn more at marylandsports.us.
Back at Navy Marine Corps Stadium, Maddog National with a 2-1 lead. This is the 2028 championship game. These are rising sophomores, and this is game 2 of what is a 4-game slate today. There were some games actually before noon as well, championships of some middle school age divisions. This is a gigantic event here in Annapolis, Maryland. 32 teams in this age group. There were hundreds and hundreds of college coaches here earlier in the week scrutinizing, and this is a kind of an important summer for the rising sophomores and rising juniors.
I like the offense by Maddog in terms of just using the perimeter and slipping the crease. It's not stagnant.
Shot wide. possession continues. There's no shot clock here. So it's super important in a lot of these summer events to get an early lead and then possess the ball, because without a shot clock, you really can kind of run yourself away from victory. It becomes hard to reel in a team that's got a 2 or 3 goal advantage. Maddog now in the settled set. Trent Tremblay. Corner dodge to X. No pressure on the ball, and that costs him. So BBL gets hung up. Maddog does a nice job of finding some seams on offense, and they now have a 3-1 early lead. I think it was Cameron Hill, 27.
Yeah, Cameron Hill using the crease area. So they got 2 crease guys, and I think a lot of the attention for the BBL defense was inside on those 2 initial crease guys, and then Hill kind of comes from the top area, and it's great recognition by Wade McKnight, who shows you the vision. His dad was a great player at the University of Virginia, Drew McKnight. Plays his high school ball down in
Dallas, Texas, right?
Dallas, Texas, yeah. Drew was a phenomenal player. I remember when he was playing his early days at Virginia, he was teamed up with Michael Watson and Doug Knight.
Yeah, Timmy Whiteley left that trio and was replaced by McKnight, who, like Watson, could do a lot of different things.
He could. He was a 2-handed righty cradle guy, just super creative on that wing.
You never could put a player like McKnight or Watson into a stencil. They were always coming up with
something new.
Whether it was dodging, whether it was off ball, whether it was time and room shooting, whether it was attacking the goal from a different angle. Really sensational era of attack.
Got something here.
Had numbers, little second thought by Owen Higgins, and he'll slow things up and wait for subs. Jace Stiansen, the attackman, big number 24, near side, covered by the righty Ted Pavlikas of Culver. Liam Haggerty, 2-man game. Off the left wing, shot wide. Nice pick. That was effective. Just a simple little 2-man game on the wing. Set up the lefty rip from Stiansen. Learning to play without the ball, really important at this age. Way wide, pegged a defender.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt overnight.
I think it was Higgins off the mark by at least 5 yards. Down 2 with 2 minutes to go in this first quarter. BBL National, a team out of New Jersey, looking for their second goal. Giordano, triple team, turns the ball over. It's on the carpet, bailed out by a teammate, and this could be dangerous. Nice stop. Brooker makes his first stop, the goaltender out of Texas. Big Mac, the lefty, rocking the gray sweatshirts. Let's see if he can find anything in the clearing game. Nice look up front, keeps it simple. And Maddog National now will settle.
Brooker, the lefty, like you said, he just standing his ground. Patient, too. No jumpiness out of his game.
Highland Park out of Dallas, Texas, coached by Mike Pressler of the PLL New York Atlas. They were state champions this year, I believe.
I'm telling you, the goalies are getting better and better over the years.
Well, as a technical position, I will tell you that Instagram, TikTok, and the likes, there's a lot of technique material online that in the past was very hard to come by. Good stop by the righty, Matty McGinty. His eyes are up, but there's nothing deep, so he's going to have to outlet this to the goal line extended. And so in technical sports, like whether it's high school wrestling or high school lacrosse, there's a lot of material on there.
Absolutely.
Like for me, honestly, I can surf college wrestling techniques and learn more in an hour now than I could in my entire high school career combined, because you had to travel to clinics. You had to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same with lacrosse. Like to
and
learn.
That's why you're seeing
to
goaltenders.
learn from elite goalies, I had to go there and like clinic with them.
And that's a great
point. That was one or two times a year.
And that's why back then you would see goalies typically coming from the same areas all the time because they were getting trained by those successful goalies. Now it's national because of what they have at their disposal.
So there's a lot of technique work, whether it's dodging, shooting, as this first quarter comes to an end with a 3-1 lead for Maddog National. Just if you want to learn how to do a good split dodge or a rollback, it's there. Use that, put that Google search engine to work, and you can improve your skills. So Mac Brooker, the goaltender from Texas, ends up this first quarter, and his Maddog National team has a 3-1 lead. Owen Higgins has scored for the BBL national team. Struznik from Kennedy and Cameron Hall from McKnight. You're watching the Naptown National Challenge from Annapolis, Maryland. Quinn Kesnick and Paul Carcaterra and Marianne Laurel. You see the semifinals earlier this morning. BBL National prevailing over USA West by a goal. And in another close game, two-way lacrosse falls to Maddog National. The story so far in this game has been Maddog National. Cameron Hill scored the last goal to make it 3-1. But they've won 5 out of 5 draws. Carl Robeson is 3 for 3 from the dot, and Corbin Brigham is 2 for 2 for the dot for Maddog.
Oof.
Make that 6 face-offs for Maddog.
Great physicality by Cameron Hill, laying the boom off that wing in that GB. He stays on, too. He's a nice-looking two-way athlete. He's got the ball right now.
So this Maddog team is an ensemble. It's a national group. It's kind of an all-star group that's thrown together for an elite tournament, as Naptown is.
But they do play together quite a bit. It's not just for this.
So they'll play together a handful of times during the summer at select some of the more difficult national events. And so it's kind of like an all-star team in that if you're playing for this team, that's generally an endorsement from the Maddog club family.
Yeah, they have Maddog East, Maddog West. They have the national team.
And this team looks like they're pretty comfortable together in terms of the ball movement. All even strength.
I like the way they spread the field, too.
BBL and man-to-man defense.
This is a matchup right here. They're going to attack the short sticks.
So they go
Case Billings.
Umbrella off the single invert. A little too much room on the wing. Continue to spin the ball, and a lot of patience. Trent Tremblay, the big lefty 50 up top with the black helmet, is a danger from distance.
Watch Billings inside, too. He's
Two-man
crafty.
play, throwback, nice stop by Matty McGinty, the righty out of Del Barton. And now just kind of a reset for Maddog National. McGinty's a good-sized goalie for the age group as well. Only a rising sophomore from a powerhouse program in Jersey, Del Barton. C.J. Kirst from Del Barton.
Yep, Michael Long.
Ned Crotty from Del Barton. Turnover. Higgins has logged a lot of playing time in this game. 8 in blue with the orange helmet. He's been on the field quite a bit, and he'll spin this ball through Evan Kang and wait for substitutions. Pass down, pick down action for BBL, and they throw it back. Michael Giordano gets to the rack, top side, tangent to the crease. So a little pass down, pick down. They worked a two-man game, and then all of a sudden Giordano shows great speed, 3-2.
Great speed, great creative aspect. He doesn't have the time to change his hands here because of the defensive pressure on the outside shoulder. So Giordano in one motion with that backhanded shot, that is gorgeous. That is instincts too, Quint, because he makes that move aggressively, and to feel the pressure and know that he can't go to his left there by taking the stick across his face and using the backhand. It's the same angle as a lefty shot there.
He's got some fast twitch. Like the looks of that goal. Creative on the fly. Face-off ground ball continues. 8.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Ball still on the ground, and we're probably going to get a loose ball push call. And this ball earned by BBL. Let's see if they can attack off the restart. No numbers. They're trailing 3-2. Substitution pattern complete. Grady Paltos up top. Midi Jack Rendy. And it'll be Paltos from West Orange, New Jersey, left-handed. Rolls back, should throw through. Good time to dodge is here. Defense doubles, and they spin it. Federite to Rendy. Lefty rip, saved by Brooker, loose ball. This is still a shot. Redirected and then stepped on. You don't see that much. That's not going to feel good, and we're going to have a stoppage here for an injury.
Yeah, we got a player down.
This is not a good sign. I think it's
Grady Paltos.
Grady Paltos. He stepped on the ball, and in doing so, it can really twist, whether it's an ankle, knee, or even hip. It just didn't look normal. You don't see this very much. You're trying to make a ball. He just slips on it, and it rolls up his foot. So we're going to step away as the athletic training staff takes a look at the injured Grady Paltos.
Welcome to Annapolis and Anne Arundel County, where adventure isn't just found, it finds you. Feel the thrill of the unexpected. Taste the flavors of the Bay. History, culture, and adventure collide here, where every corner holds a discovery and every moment is unforgettable. Whether you're catching a live show, strolling the waterfront, or just soaking in the vibe, this is your kind of getaway. Adventure begins in Annapolis and Anne Arundel County, Maryland. Plan your overnight getaway at visitannapolis.org.
We talk about focus, effort, and have fun. Okay? The focus and the effort includes accountability, right? Okay? This means something to be out here. I saw guys running, I saw guys throw the ball, and I saw guys having a lot of fun.
Navy Marine Corps Stadium championship game for the 2028 age characterization grouping. Maddog National, BBL National. Quentin Paul here, and hundreds of college coaches were here during the week, Monday and Tuesday. Today begins a blackout period to ensure that people like John Tillman have a work-life balance.
Tillman, an Annapolis resident. Instead of putting it on Underhill, put it on Tillman when you're in town.
A lot of Annapolis residents. Jesse Bernhardt, Annapolis resident. David Shriver of Georgetown staff, an Annapolis resident. I think the Phipps family has lived in this region for years. Shot wide. 6:48 to go in the second quarter. Maddog National in the white, leading BBL National in the blue. But if you're a coach here, Paul, and you're watching this game right now, are there a couple players who maybe have earned your eye so far?
Yeah, and I think for starters, you also look at each of these players differently. Some of them might not be fully developed, so you look at maybe the skill set or the IQ with room for development, and then those physically mature players, you want to see where they are from a skill perspective.
Damn, like that.
Like that, exactly. So that has a little bit of everything with a rip.
That's a rising sophomore.
Jay Stanson just absolutely hammers this. So he soaks the check.
Pass down, pick down again.
Yep. They're doing a nice job with that, and that's allowing their midfielders to get to the middle of the field. But that's a beautiful shot on the run with major velocity and shot location to the pipes there.
Left-handed turns the corner, 3-3 off the stoppage. That's a impressive-looking rising sophomore.
Well, getting back to what you were saying, so there's certain players, like you can tell by the way that their bodies are right now, there's room for development for a lot of these guys. The beauty of this age group is they have about 14 months until decisions are made.
Yeah.
And a lot can happen in 14 months. We saw the 2029s before this game, and the difference is huge from a physical standpoint.
No transition here for Maddog National. So we're tied up at 3. I think a big thing, honestly, Kark, for the recruiters is knowing two things. What's the love level? Like, do these players love it, or are they just good at it? And then 2, where are they in that development? Did they pick up a stick in 8th or 9th grade, or have they been playing since they were 2? Do they play football and lacrosse? Are they maybe a full-time basketball player during the, like, to try to gauge what their athletic path is going to be and how much room is left for improvement? Like when Logan McNaney of Maryland was first seen by John Tillman,
Tillman didn't have a goalie coach.
Someone asked him, who's your goalie coach?
He
I don't
didn't
have
have
one.
one.
Oh, there's growth there.
Ding. Yeah.
So like, you don't want a fully developed prospect if a coach is trying to project what these young men are going to look like.
But,
for these guys, 4, 5, 6, 7 years from now.
BBL is feeling it right now. Offensively, they're getting into a groove. They're using picks. They're using some deception in their shooting. And Maddog was off to a hot start, but the boys from Jersey have closed the gap. This is soaking a body check and continuing to keep that angle, though.
Another nice
massive.
athletic goal. That's Liam Haggerty, number 19.
You see how he didn't get thrown off his line there?
No, you saw Stiansen picks up the assist here. Giordano scored their first goal of the quarter, and so they've rattled off 3 straight in this quarter to take a lead now, 4-3.
They're having success from the wings.
Swing move and an outside shot off target for Maddog.
If you notice, BBL is starting to really generate some offense from the wings. But, Quinn, I'll also say every story is unique. You have the Logan McNaney story where you don't have a goalie coach, your eyes light up, and there's a lot of potential. But you can't put your nose down on a prodigy either. Like, there are certain players who've been playing since second grade that love the game, that play a lot, and lacrosse is their primary sport.
And that high school skill level, you could teleport them right now to a college field, and they'd fit in from an IQ and skill standpoint.
And if they love the game and they're not burnt out, you got to go after those guys.
The other thing is what position they play, because I've seen in many cases, I've seen midfielders switch to LSM in college and have great success. Ryan Malik being the first draft pick in the MLO draft back in the day, a guy who played offensive midfield at Boys Latin.
Joel White from Syracuse.
I think of Mitch Hendler, a guy who switched from midfield to defense at Boys Latin School, became a captain and leader of the 2004 Navy team. Like, a position switch can change the picture also.
Joel White
maybe a guy who for some reason was playing out of position in high school, attack, and then can move to midfield or LSM to close or vice versa.
Joel White made the under-19 USA team as a midfielder. He gets to Syracuse, never plays pole before. He plays long stick midi, and he's the midfielder of the year with a long pole. So it just shows you like how much of a chameleon he was, to your point.
BBL now with the 1-goal lead, 4-3, 1:30 to go before halftime. That's Higgins, and he misses the net.
But what's changing about lacrosse is back in the day there were so many multi-sport athletes. This sport's becoming more like hockey and soccer, where these players, for all intents and purposes, it's their primary focus.
Their whole summer is going to be invested in the sport of lacrosse.
They might squeeze in a second sport in a calendar year.
Could they play high school football or soccer? Yes. Could they play high school basketball? Yes. But could they do all three?
Absolutely
highly
not.
unlikely nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, could they? Yes, but highly unlikely and absolutely not from a time perspective unless that kid's going to have zero time.
Now, the upside of playing those multiple sports is going to show up a little more in the time management and the demands of college lacrosse, because it's nothing like the high school or club when you're meeting for hours a day, film, weight room, study hall, sleep, nutrition, recovery, plus practice. And so I think the multi-sport athletes are probably a little more college ready from the calendar standpoint. But maybe underdeveloped in terms of
there's give and take.
The skill.
But I'll ask you this question too. When you look at elite high school aged soccer players or hockey players, how many of them are multi-sport athletes?
Not many. I know the sport of wrestling, very few.
Exactly.
Only the heavyweights will play football and wrestle.
Maddog.
Big goal there, tied up before
right
halftime.
Before halftime. Talk about time sensitivity.
Ugly goal by Maddog, but they'll take it. I think it's Will Cornell.
It is Will Cornell, 54 in white.
Colorado native.
Great awareness, understanding the ball's on the ground and there's only seconds left. And as he gets that ground ball, he moves upfield to increase that angle. That is excellent offensive awareness from Cornell.
First quarter was kind of controlled by Maddog National. Dom Fryer, Stuznik, and Cameron Hill with goals. 3-1 they led. And then the second quarter, you had 3 straight. Michael Giordano, Jay Stiansen, and Liam Haggerty. BBL National took a 4-3 lead. This game's going to go all 48 minutes, and we're tied up at 4 apiece at the break. Maddog National under the tutelage of Mike Hungerford. BBL National's head coach is David Cormack. We're going to swing things downstairs here to Marianne Laurel, who is with one of our coaches.
Coach Hungerford, ahead of halftime, what's the messaging you're looking to share with your team?
Well, I just think it's pretty even. Obviously, it's 4-4, two real evenly matched teams. It's going to come down to crumble cross. Always comes down to like possession time, winning faceoffs, clearing the ball efficiently. I think if we have the ball in the second half more than they do, we have a great chance to score some goals. That's what it's going to come down to.
Any adjustments you're looking to make in the next half?
I don't really think it's about adjustments. I think it's about being efficient with the ball. We've had a couple unforced turnovers down on our end. Didn't back the ball up a couple times. So we'll talk about being efficient. Guys have played a lot of lacrosse in the last few days. So mentally they got to dial into like not having turnovers, making a smart play, letting the ball do the work, right? Making the simple. Right now the simplest play is the best play.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks a lot.
Mac Brooker and Maddog Nationals, 5 saves. This game is knotted up at 4 apiece. Coach and the Maddog National team will dig in at halftime. Got to come out second half with some juice.
Welcome to Annapolis and Anne Arundel County, where adventure isn't just found, it finds you. Feel the thrill of the unexpected. Taste the flavors of the Bay. History, culture, and adventure collide here, where every corner holds a discovery and every moment is unforgettable. Whether you're catching a live show, strolling the waterfront, or just soaking in the vibe, this is your kind of getaway. Adventure begins in Annapolis and Anne Arundel County, Maryland. Plan your overnight getaway at visitannapolis.org.
Solidifying Maryland as the premier destination for sports tourism, the Maryland Sports Commission drives economic growth that benefits all Marylanders. Go to marylandsports.us to learn more.
Here at the 2025 Naptown Challenge presented by Hogan Lax. Coach Hogan, happy to be joined with you. Thank you so much for having us once again, hosting this phenomenal tournament, getting close to almost 10 years. When you think of that conversation with Coach Cottle back in the day, a cocktail napkin led to this. Right. What are you thinking now as you continue to grow the tournament?
It's been fantastic. You know, we've gone from 16 teams in each division to now 32 teams in each division. We're sort of a national, we have teams from all over the country. It's been a great experience for us, and it's been a great experience for our players also.
A big part of this is playing at a historic stadium, Navy Stadium. What does this opportunity mean for the players of all ages, knowing that there could be anybody tuning in and watching?
I think, I'm biased, but this is, I think, the best lacrosse stadium in the entire country. It's unique because of it's a memorial stadium with a Navy Marine Corps stadium, but also because of the proximity of fans to the field. So I think every player really enjoys playing in this atmosphere. One, being in the stadium, but two, potentially be on ESPN.
When you think of this opportunity for the players, it's also an opportunity for people in the Annapolis area to be able to come out and watch. What does this tournament mean to this specific area and the state of Maryland?
I think it means a lot. We have great sponsorships with Maryland's Sports Commission, and Visit Annapolis does a great job of supporting us. We bring a lot of hotels, airport, rental cars. The economic impact is a great number, and those two groups, Visit Annapolis and Maryland Sports Commission, recognize that. So I think the community really supports what we do.
Coach Hogan, appreciate your time. Appreciate you continuing to bring this tournament, and hopefully it's here for years to come.
We hope so. We look forward to many, many years.
Stay tuned here on the ESPN family of networks for more LAX. Welcome back here with Dave Cottle. And Coach, when you think of this tournament, everybody wants to know. And my first question for you is, how did this get started? What was the conversation like? Can you walk us through that?
Well, Matt and I went to lunch one day, and Matt had said that they are the king of the B tournaments, but they didn't have the best town in the country coming to any of their tournaments. And so could we come up with an idea on how to get the best teams from across the country to come to Annapolis, Maryland, and that's what we worked on.
When you think of Annapolis, Maryland, everybody knows Navy Stadium, the historic nature. Why Navy?
Well, for that reason, you look at this stadium, it's one of the top stadiums in all of college lacrosse. Kids watch games on there growing up, and they want to play there. And the town of Annapolis is such a receiving place and such a great place for families to come down. And being in Annapolis has really helped to draw the teams to come and play.
What is it about this area? I know it's a family town, as you mentioned, but why Annapolis? Why does this mean so much? Why bring the tournament to this area?
Well, you know, the MIAA runs their tournament here at Navy Stadium. There's 30 schools there. The town is, it's a, you know, cobblestone town, and all the restaurants and bars, the kids get to walk through it, and Visit Annapolis is one of our big sponsors, and, you know, Annapolis Bureau of Recreation and Parks has been a big supporter. So the whole community got behind it. They were willing to do whatever it takes to make it a successful tournament.
Appreciate your time so much, and we appreciate the history of this. And when you think of these guys playing with their hearts out here at Navy Stadium, you can catch it on all of the ESPN family of networks today.
The Naptown National Challenge 2028 Championship. These are rising sophomores. We're at halftime, and BBL National and Maddog National are tied at 4 apiece. This is one of 4 age categories you're going to see today. Mike Giordano.
What a move.
Scored the second goal for BBL National in the blue, and then it was Jace Stiansen
They're
unassisted.
getting success from that wing, Quinn.
And Haggerty scores to make it 4-3 off the wing. Maddog National had the lead early in this game. Dom Fryer, Stuznik from Kennedy, and then Cameron Hill from McKnight. Will Cornell had one garbage goal before halftime, and we're knotted up at 4 apiece. Pretty tight. Like, what decides this game?
You know, I think it's going to come down to some unassisted goals. The playmakers from a dodging perspective. In club lacrosse, it's a lot of times talent wins, right? Because you're not going to have the same type of schemes and ball movement and, you know, the familiarity of these players when you're joining a team and you can practice and you can play in these club tournaments. It's not like high school where you're with them every single day. So at the end of the day, it's the talent and it's the unassisted goals. The team, I think, who has the most unassisted goals in the second half will just show their power.
Maddog goalie Mac Brooker with 5 saves. BBL's goalie is Matty McGinty. He has 2 saves. Those stats brought to you by Visit Annapolis.
Yeah, I like Brooker in the cage, too. He's under the Kip Turner tutelage. Kip Turner is a great goalie and an assistant coach for a long time at the University of Virginia, training goalies, and Brooker's one of those guys that he works with from a physical and mental perspective.
Marianne Laurel is downstairs with one of our coaches.
I'm here with Coach Kavanaugh. Coach, really aggressive first half. What have you seen has gone particularly well with your team, and how do you keep that going?
We just need to settle down a little bit. You know, these guys have jitters. They're a little excited. It's a fun stage to play on. Right? They just need to realize it's like any other lacrosse game. Run our offense, continue to get leverage in the big littles and picks. We're doing a good job. We just got to relax and get into the flow of the game.
All right, thank you, Coach. Have a great half.
Coach Brian Kavanaugh, head coach, pretty active in lacrosse circles.
He knows a thing or two.
Set for the opening face-off of the second half. We'll play 12-minute running time quarters. Kavanaugh, an assistant with the Utah Archers. Ground ball controlled by the white-clad Maddog national team. 4-4 tie. Last game of a busy week. Referees letting them play. They swing that ball back through their goaltender, Matty McGinty. Good crossfield pass thrown by BBL Nationals Connor Albert out of the Pingree School. It's kind of a non-negotiable as a defender at this age. You got to be able to throw that crossfield. You got to be able to throw goal line extended up to the midline, and then you got to be able to throw your diagonals. Those are passes that you should be practicing.
What do you think the best way to practice that is for a goalie?
Defenders and goalies.
Yeah,
those are just basic passes. You know, I like doing long passes either before or after practice as a first thing to get warmed up or at the end of the day. It helps if you could do it if you have 3 or 4 people and you can go to different areas, form triangles and or squares and get the ball hopping or get 2 balls at a time going. But typically the mistake that people make when they do those drills is they don't move their feet. They just stand still. And it's very rare in a lacrosse game you're going to make a pass while you're standing still. BBL National. Settled O. They go with the left-handed dodge off the invert. Step down. Nice save. That was smooth. That's a new goalie, Weston Guerra out of McDonough. Who's now going to play the second half. Guerra, the righty.
Oh, that's a good effort right there. Oh, he's out of bounds.
Tiptoeing the sideline. BBL's Connor Albert, and he steps out of bounds. So an opportunity now off the restart for Maddog National in the white jerseys. They're on a sub, and so they don't have a numeric advantage. Setting up a kind of a high dodge with space. Throwback, one more shot wide. Could see that coming. That was kind of well orchestrated. These teams are coached up. There's no question. They're not just kind of rolling it out there. And
I like the spacing on both of these offensive teams. It's giving plenty of opportunities for these ball carriers to create space in their dodges. You know what, they do a nice job too? It's ball movement. It's 1-2 pass, and they find a backside with some dodging opportunities as well.
Split dodge, right to left. Looking to gain leverage. Dante Frederick. Asher Getson.
Oh, I love this.
Lefty rip.
I love this.
Trent
play.
Tremblay.
So they use almost like a scissor up top, and it's a little manipulation here. Tremblay stands his ground. Look how this play's developed here, right? You got a little scissor there.
He runs off that screen.
Yep.
They screw it up, and he throws it back.
Because when he runs off the screen, both defenders are a little bit too cognizant, thinking maybe there's a pick involved and they need to switch. But Tremblay, he does a really nice job of standing his ground and keeping his space. Like if he drifted towards the ball carrier, he probably doesn't have that kind of shot.
You've seen that in the PLL quite a bit this summer. They'll set that pick and then just kind of
Well, who's their coach?
Slip off of it.
Who's their coach? It's
Brian
Cavanaugh. He
yeah.
coaches in the PLL. I mean, he's running some real sets here, and that's beautiful offense. I love that.
So you read it. Tommy Schreiber scored on a goal like that 2 weeks ago. BBL National now in blue, hunting a game-tying score. They're in a circle formation with an empty crease. So there's no one inside. It's a six-man perimeter. And now they move and change out of it, setting up the single invert. They're going to pick on the shorty, Luke Winters out of California. Winters plays his angles. They double. Pass cut. Shot wide. Race out. Earned. Great hustle by Maddog National. Anticipation and possession earned.
Anticipation's the key word there, Quint.
You know, that's a stat I would like to see on the stat sheet
Runouts?
every week. Yeah, runouts. Why not? Because it's like a ground ball. It's,
Yeah.
it's as significant as a ground ball.
And typically, I think that stat would have to be runouts won.
Runouts
on
won.
the defensive end,
Yeah,
right? Because
exactly.
It can't be.
Runouts won on offense are just an
Yeah,
extension of the
exactly.
possession. Runouts
Exactly.
won on defense.
I think that's a great stat.
You know, Matt Reese, who was a defender here at the Naval Academy, there were games where he would get 4 or 5 of those runouts.
We got to get Stacy from Navy putting that on the list.
As those, you know, as a weak side defender, a lot of times those guys can get a little bit of a head start, and the smart ones will pick up 2 or 3 runouts a game.
And it's a gamble sometimes too.
It's a gamble if they're attack with front swings. Absolutely. So man-to-man offense now. This is Higgins, Owen Higgins. Pass down, pick down. Roll attempt foiled. Stiansen now throws it behind the net. Far side, right-handed, left-handed jump shot, easy stop. This is Weston Guerra in goal, the righty from McDonough School. I believe McDonough starters headed to the University of Maryland. He's quite good. So Guerra, it's an opportunity this summer maybe to get more PT.
Yeah, absolutely. Seibel is the name.
Yeah.
Heading to Maryland. He'll probably have to
sit for 2 years behind
take
Brian
his turn.
Ruppel.
Exactly. Brian Ruppel was a starter as a true freshman when Logan McNaney went down with that knee injury against Loyola in 2023. So he started the rest of that year, Rupel, and then had a sit last year where he got a red shirt, and then he was the backup this year as a redshirt sophomore, 2 years remaining eligibility-wise. But John Tillman has a stable of goalies.
Rupel will be very good next year. I would guess he'd finish in the top 10 in save percentage.
I'll take that bet as well.
You're not taking that bet. You're not saying no way. I'll take that. You agree? Oh, my gosh.
I do. I'll
Stop the
bet
presses.
on you. I'll bet on you.
Presses. P.J. Kennedy from Culver sends one wide. We actually agree.
We agree a lot, actually. We do.
Maddog National. Back-to-back goals.
Will Cornell.
Trent Tremblay scored earlier. Now Cornell gives him the 6-4 lead.
It's the second goal by Cornell in this game that he does something neat to increase his angle. On that late second quarter pickup around the crease, he scoops the ball and he continues upfield. This time he extends his arms out to increase the angle. This guy has some nifty low angle shooting ability. Cornell in the dome.
Class of 2028 championship game at Navy Marine Corps Stadium. This is the Naptown National Challenge, and you look at the previous champions in this age category. It's pretty spread out. Tommy Zumo and Legacy Taz's team won back in 2021. Team 91 and Brian Spallina. It's been a tough age category, really, to kind of – one thing about this tournament, Naptown, Kark, it's so competitive. Like, there's no such thing as dynasties.
Yeah, you're right. We saw the Hawks. They won a couple back-to-backs in certain age groups.
Yeah, news coming out of the Hawks this week. Mark Van Arsdale, former assistant coach at the University of Virginia and most recently at Loyola, accepting a position with the Hawks where he's going to be coaching and helping out with a lot of their different age groups.
Yeah, player development, and those kids are going to have a wealth of information thrown at them. And think of the great attackmen that he's coached over the years, whether it was, you know, a guy recently, 2019, Pat Spencer, but back in the day at Virginia with the Doug Knights of the world and the Michael Watsons and Drew McKnight, whose son's on the field right now, 52 in white.
Yeah, Coach Van Arsdale continuing. The Annapolis Hawks have been aggressive in securing college-level coaches. to help come work with their club teams. Dave Cottle involved for many years, kind of overseeing and going to practices and making sure the practice plans and schemes behind the backer. Wow, we got a Sports Center top 10 play nominee. It's the Maddog National Lax Case Billings, another Colorado native. Catches his feed, watch this, zip.
Oh, I love that. That is a gorgeous BTB. You feel some front side pressure, you rip it BTB. Excellent off-ball player. When you talk to anyone who's affiliated with this program, he's known as their top inside finisher.
That'll work. That'll work. I thought he thought about it a little too long. Sometimes, like when you line it up, it doesn't work. It's got to be like in the flow. But that he kind of like thought about it and did it, but it still worked.
Yeah, he had the patience.
Seen that a lot this summer at the women's high school level, and some of it is not pretty.
The BTBs?
Know your limitations, folks.
Wait, you've seen some bad BTBs?
Everybody's chasing the viral highlight. Everybody's chasing that viral highlight. You better be pretty sure that it's the shot to take, because you can get your name scratched off a list pretty quickly. So 4-3 lead, but for BB National has dissolved now. That's 4 straight goals for Maddog, the guys in white, and now BBL in blue out of Jersey, looking to get back in the scoring column. Jace Stanson, a nice-looking player, left-handed down the alley, slam dunk. This guy's just a beast for the age group. He's just bigger, faster, stronger right now, 24 in blue.
And he uses his body extraordinarily well. Some guys could just feel the contact. Look at this. The awareness to get back to the middle of the field. Right there, he gets back to the middle of the field. He does it with a stick fake. You could get back to the middle of the field by being a battering ram, or you could have some deception, too, by throwing a little bit of a stick fake to get the defense to bite, to just give you more middle ground.
Second goal of the day, both unassisted. Nice ground ball and swim move off the face-off. Carl Robeson, 17 for Maddog National. Robeson out of California, and the third quarter comes to an end. So Stanson had an answer, but that quarter was really dominated by Trent Tremblay, Will Cornell, and Case Billings. They scored consecutive goals, and Maddog National now will step into the fourth quarter with a 2-goal lead here from Annapolis. Marianne's downstairs, Paul and Quint upstairs. Join us now for the fourth quarter on the other side of this break.
where adventure isn't just found, it finds you. Feel the thrill of the unexpected. Taste the flavors of the Bay. History, culture, and adventure collide here, where every corner holds a discovery and every moment is unforgettable. Whether you're catching a live show, strolling the waterfront, or just soaking in the vibe, this is your kind of getaway. Adventure begins in Annapolis and Anne Arundel County, Maryland. Plan your overnight getaway at visitannapolis.org.
From fostering community engagement to driving economic growth that benefits all Marylanders, the Maryland Sports Commission is the definitive leader in promoting youth, amateur, and professional sports. The goal of the Maryland Sports Commission is to solidify the state as the premier destination for sports tourism in the entire country. Go to marylandsports.us to learn more.
Welcome back to Navy Stadium. As we get into the fourth quarter, Coach Hungerford repeatedly expressed this is an even matchup, so we should expect BBL to put up a fight in the last 12 minutes. Guys, how can BBL make a comeback?
Well, I think for starters, they're going to have to figure a way how to possess the ball. They're getting dominated on faceoffs. Maddog's 9 for 14. And then in the save category, Maddog's used 2 goalies, 8 saves on the afternoon. With that combination, BBL only 2 saves. So they're going to have to stop the bleeding at the defensive end with some saves, but also create some offense with the faceoffs.
Excellent face-off win by Maddog Nationals. Carl Robeson, the tall Fogo. And they'll possess here with the 2-goal lead in Annapolis, Maryland on a hot day. Rain and lightning last night, throwing this event a little curveball. They had to play extra games this morning. These athletes have been through the ringer this week. Highly competitive, a bracket of 32 down to these 2 teams. Maddog National now attacking with the 2-goal lead. They're in the white jerseys. It's a national roster. BBL National, a heavy New Jersey flavor with sprinkling of some other national players.
You know, another way for BBL, too, to get back into this is take some gambles in transition.
Working the high pick action, Maddog National. Flip. Struznik, 38, who's got a goal earlier. Trying to free up his right hand. He gets cross-checked right in the chest, put down to the turf. P.J. Kennedy, nice look in front, and that ball dribbles and bounces over the stick of Matty McGinty, BBL goalie. So the pattern was nice and effective. The shot didn't come out exactly fast, but I think that kind of
it was like a little bit of a knucker ball by William Vanderbosch.
I like this pattern.
It is.
Picks, and then they throw it to the man inside because the defender was staring upfield in a double posture.
They do a lot of action inside, whether it's the 2 midfielders up top generating, but it's great spatial awareness, too, that allowed that goal to happen. I'm impressed with this offense.
Was that Vanderbosch?
Yep. It's William Vanderbosch, 56 in white with the goal, a little bit of a knuckleball.
He's a Colorado native.
Seen a couple of these Colorado guys. You know, the 2027 Maddog team, they've got 2 that played in the semifinals against each other. That's how much talent Tommy Dorr and the Maddog teams have.
Well, we saw them last year at this category with JT Cross, I believe.
Yeah, JT Cross is on.
And they won a championship.
Yeah.
He was one of the more impressive players that we saw all last year.
He might be the number 1 player in that class potentially. But he's on the Maddog National Black team. They lost by a goal to the gold team. So you won't see JT Cross in this 2027 game, nor will you see George Caldroni, 2 of the top players from an offensive perspective in that class. They'll have plenty of options from Division I powerhouses come September 1st.
Nice move. Plant your foot in the turf and go, but excellent, excellent save by McGinty. Redeems himself, and now a flag down as BBL National will clear. So this will make it take it opportunity for BBL National. They're trailing in this ball game. It's a great stop.
That's what they needed. We talked about the saves, only 2 coming into the fourth quarter.
I can't get any transition out of it, but the guys in blue got to get going now.
Well, they'll get an extra man, too. Maybe another one.
Stanson penetrates, thought about it, pulls it out again. Goes after his matchup. He's a tough cover. He's big, strong, and fast. Good look inside. Goaltender Guerra's way out of the arc. He was a yard outside the crease. He was looking like Dylan Ward on that. and it worked. That was super aggressive.
I like Stiansen, man. He's shown some.
Oh, he's a beast.
Serious punch, but not only from a dodging and creating his own opportunities, passing the ball too. That was a beautiful pass.
Power play now for BBL National head coach David Cormack and a club that's based in New Jersey. Building Blocks Lacrosse. Higgins has got the orange helmet. Jackson Cheney up top. Big box fake. Watch his fakes. He's got all the stick fakes. They run a little curl. Nice stop by Guerra. Weston Guerra, the goalie out of McDonough. Don't love those shots at a goalie's feet. Much prefer shooters to shoot net. Excellent outlet. Brendan Schrey at a good counsel. Handles to safety. And you're milking a 3-goal lead, 7 minutes to go, running clock until the 2-minute mark. We play NCAA rules here. There's no shot clock. So the lead is a valued commodity, especially when people start getting tired. In women's, it's even worse because the amount of time from goal to draw is even longer than in the boys' game.
You know, in club lacrosse, I would like to see in the men's and women's from below 8th grade, because of the short games in club, would be after a goal, the goalie clears it, like Sixes style. I think too much time is wasted between the face-off and the draw.
Setup time.
In the summer circuit. Some of these games are 42 minutes. If you go to a game in the summertime,
nice save by Guerra.
you could have 21-minute running halves.
I have a
Think
friend
about the time
who
you
lives
spend.
in California whose daughter plays for a Denver team who flew to Bel Air, Maryland, let's say, and to play 2 40-minute running time games. And the actual play time is a lot less than that.
Yep, there's Higgins again. We'll get to that in a second.
8-6.
Higgins is a nice player, too. We've seen him with 2 beautiful goals in this game. I like his quickness in his feet and his release.
His game is tight. It's not
exactly. No wasted movement here.
Nothing wasted
Watch
about
the release
him.
here.
Look,
Boom.
Took that ball right to the cooker, as Leaf would say.
Hanging around.
2025 Naptown National Challenge is presented by Visit Annapolis in Anne Arundel County. Visit us at visitannapolis.org. Hogan Lax, more than lacrosse. Under Armour, protect this house. The Greater Orlando Sports Commission. And the Maryland Sports Commission. Learn more at marylandsports.us.
Minutes from the Severn River, we are at Navy Marine Corps Stadium, site and host of Navy football, Navy lacrosse. The Baltimore Bayhawks and Maryland Bayhawks used to play here. Chesapeake Bayhawks, that is. And this weekend, it is host to the Naptown National Challenge, which is a high school club lacrosse event. Today, we're televising the 4 championship games of the high school divisions. Earlier today, we saw the 2020 Nines won by the Long Island Express, and this is the 2028, the Rising Sophomores. Maddog National, they've led throughout basically, Paul. They're leading 8-5. Owen Higgins cutting it to 8-6. So the door's still open for BBL National. They're on offense in blue. Here's Higgins. He's had a nice game. 8 in blue. He's from Mountain Lakes, New Jersey. Orange helmet. Good footwork, kind of a tight game. Reminds me a little bit of a Michael Long type player. Played at Cornell. Finkelstein up top. Swings it through Rosen. Back to Finkelstein. Far side. Haggerty. Higgins. Buried. Saved by Guerra.
He's
Loose
tough,
ball
too.
picked
Higgins isn't afraid to get hit. Diving through the air. That's like a Michael Sowers type move.
So that's a key stop with 4 minutes to go in this game.
Huge stop.
Nursing the 2-goal lead. The goaltender out of McDonough. Outlets, they stay on side, and now an offensive possession for Maddog National. If you're BBL National, how long you wait before you start applying some pressure. Down 2, running clock. They're applying pressure right now on the perimeter. Pump and go to the inside. Shot goes over the net. This will be backed up and kept in play by by Maddog National. Maddog has the lead and the ball. And here comes the double team I mentioned. Really aggressive double team. They have too many men on defense, which is why they can double team. They have more than too many men on defense. They have as many as you'll ever see. Count them. They have 8 guys on defense, plus a goalie.
Still can't get the ball.
Without a shot clock, this could go on for a bit. 8 guys on defense, and they can't create the turnover. I've never seen so many people on the field actively playing.
You might want to shut off adjacents, right? You got the personnel and numbers to do it. They're making the adjacent
But
pass
every time
too
they
easy.
soften off the adjacent.
They pass.
Someone's going to get frustrated and throw a slash here. I can feel it. Fans love it. Maddog National fans on their feet. A second penalty and finally a whistle. That was expertly done by Maddog
You
National.
ready for this? They're going to go from 8 defenders to 4.
Count them.
Yeah.
They got 8 defenders. Think about how tired some of these young men were. Multiple games each day this week. Played earlier this morning. You make that championship game. You got to lace them up again, and now 8-6 with $1.50 to go.
Well, they'll have some time off with the 4th of July weekend, and hopefully they smash a ton of hot dogs, drink some bug juice. Remember the bug juice as a kid? Did you ever drink bug juice?
No.
It's basically like colored sugar water, right? You dilute it as much as you can, and
I like hot dogs.
I love a good long hot dog, snappy one.
I like corn on the cob.
Love a hot dog. I like a thin, crispy, long dog. Good burger. I'll take a good burger any day.
Good burger any day is right. Empty net now. Down 2 men. Down 3 men. They only have 4 players on defense.
I told you they were going from 8 to 4.
8-3, plus a goalie.
Oh, because 2 guys, that's right.
Empty net.
You had the 2 guys, you had too many men on the field for 2 guys, so you're down 2 there, and then the slash, the personal foul, so that's 3. You went from 8 to 3.
Things getting ugly quickly for BBL national team in the blue. 1-on-1. Oh, that's not going to go over well. And
wow, we got something. This might be the first fight I've ever seen at Naptown.
There should be retribution because that hit.
It was late.
Connor Albert, out of the Pingree School, should be thrown in the penitentiary for what he does here. This is really low sportsmanship. You're losing a game 9-6. Look, you're losing a game 9-6, and you do that.
That's late.
That's a high hit, and he's the biggest guy out here, so it's kind of tough to get retribution. But he's a rising sophomore. He's about 6'3", 200 pounds. But that is just, I got no time. I got nothing positive to say about that, and I better watch what I'm going to say.
Well, it's a learning opportunity for him as well. You know, he's a young man, made a big mistake, but it's a learning opportunity.
Well, it should come with an apology to the athlete that he hit and to the other team's head coach, and give Maddog national credit for not seeking retribution, because I know back in the day things might have gotten a little bit uglier. The hockey mentality that was so prevalent in lacrosse for a while would not have let that happen. That would not have happened at Yorktown High School.
Do the old Ogie Oglethorpe?
It just wouldn't have happened. And I know you're not going to be critical of this young man, but it just an eye for an eye back in the day. If we were in Canada, that would have been a bench clearing brawl.
No, you're right. Absolutely.
That's not right. I don't love that either.
I'm not here to defend the action at all. It was a major mistake.
Major mistake.
But it could be a good growing opportunity for him. He's a freshman in high school entering his sophomore campaign. If the coach addresses it properly, and to your point, if he apologizes, you hope that he never does it again.
Yeah. Down 3, under a minute to go. BBL National. Bright spot's been Owen Higgins, 8 in blue.
Oof.
That's a rip.
Yeah, that is
a nice-looking
rip.
move. That was Liam Haggerty. He's had a strong game
He
as well.
has.
So I like Mike Giordano for them. I like Jay Stiansen. I like Liam Haggerty. And I like Owen Higgins.
Yeah, their midfield's deep. They've got serious midfield talent on this team.
A little too much offensive depth. Maddog National's got contributions from all sorts of different guys. Vanderbosch, Billings, Cornell, Tremblay, Cornell again, Struznik, Fieri, Cameron Hill. Like, great depth of scoring for Maddog National. And our player of the game, I believe, is going to be Will Cornell with 2 goals.
Yeah, Will Cornell was Johnny on the spot late in the second quarter, and then did a nice job creating his own offense from behind the cage. Presented by Visit Annapolis, Will Cornell. Cashing in for the Dogs.
There's some great pubs in downtown Annapolis on the harbor. They come in all different shapes and sizes, from holes in the wall to some first-class, really, really high-end places. Again, this is the state capital. There's a lot of wealthy lobbyists in town that'll probably want to take you out for lunch.
I love Davis's Pub.
That's your spot?
Yeah. John Tillman and I will meet for a burger there from time to time. Davis's Pub is, it's like one of those OG Annapolis places that you mentioned. It's got a lot of flavor. And
this town hasn't changed much. My brother graduated from the Naval Academy in the early 80s during the Cold War. And the town, it's still very similar. Now, it's grown outside of downtown Annapolis. It's grown tremendously from kind of a small town city into more of a metropolis, condos and the likes. But it's a really special place. 9-6. This will bring us, the conclusion of this game brings us to the halfway mark. So we got Long Island.
Got to bring the juice, Quint.
Long Island Express. We will. Long Island Express wins the 29s.
Yep.
Mad Dog National is going to take the 28s. We got college coaches texting us how excited they are to watch some of these games, the 27s and the 26s today.
Yeah.
They're not here. It's a dead period. NCAA rules said they can't be here, so they're watching this on TV. So they're all excited to watch, which is really cool.
Well, it's a dead period as well, so
dead period. No, so they're at home with their families watching us.
Yep.
Congratulations, Mad Dog National head coach Mike Hungerford, Tommy Dorr, champions of Naptown.
You see the joy. We saw it on the 29 Long Island Express team. Now we're seeing it on Mad Dog National. These kids spend a lot of time in hotels together in the summertime. Their parents make so many sacrifices. But the grind gets rewarded with a W. And everyone wins. When you think about the relationships formed, whether you win the championship or not, the value of lacrosse, friendships gained, moments, and experiences.